When I traveled through the Arctic for 18 days last summer, I was on top of the world. Not just because I was witnessing some of the most dramatic scenery on Earth, but because my guide for this expedition was my father, Doug. Or, as he's known by the unofficial title on his old hard hat, Captain Zero. His official title is Electronics Technician. But on board this Canadian Coast Guard icebreaker, he dabbles in everything. From overseeing this water sampling device called the Rosette, to the operating of heavy machinery.
That's good.
Generally, he's Mr. Fix-It.
One wrench.
Something I didn't inherit, by the way. Of course, life in the Arctic isn't all about science.
1 mile from station.
Nor is it all glamorous. Whether it's squeezing in and out of our skin-tight survival suits, or enduring an Arctic Circle initiation ceremony, a messy maritime tradition dating back centuries whenever a major line of latitude is crossed at sea. Yes, I needed 3 showers, and yes, it's actually been toned down over the years. Oh, and here's me and my dad engaged in battle. I've never actually beaten him. Not without a little help, anyway. It was nearly 30 years ago, in 1979, when my dad first set foot in this sometimes dangerous and always breathtaking region of the world, as part of research teams studying climate change. Sometimes gone for weeks on end, there were sacrifices on the home front along the way. As a result, my father has been married more than a few times. Naturally, though, there were plenty of highs along the way. A major one in the summer of 1994, he was part of a historic trip right to the North Pole. There, my father married his coworker, Louise Adamson. Louise has since passed away, and my father is in another relationship now. And while his love of the Arctic has remained constant, he shares it with his significant other, Mary Steele, who works in the same field. From drilling holes in the ice to take early measurements, to taking a chilly dip on occasion, my dad has seen this frozen frontier like few people on Earth. But now, the place so dear to him is itself changing. Here, scientists are seeing rapid and dramatic warming trends. Some predictions say this Arctic summer sea ice
It's an interesting berg as well.
could be gone by the end of the century, if not sooner. But at 63, retirement calls, especially with the intense physical labor involved. And so he may never see this 24-hour daylight again. He says our Arctic voyage will likely be his last, and therefore the last chance for me to see what my dad does in his remote office. Those 18 days in the Arctic with my pop was the longest time we've had together since I was 7 years old. Back then, I used to imagine he was, well, the king of the North. As it turns out, my imagination works pretty well.